Tsilixw and Siam eat na tachol das well mo Asi amanas chalata siam Nashwalakwa itsa si atlamati squile Iachan sa sun it's a squile at a squile it's a snap Chatsa nasalalokla si wanamak chaskeno his Huyan listen sa squile it's a na uxala Achan lisat sa shuyam Sa shuyam at sa tlakta mishal dalnachati squile Na uxala achan sa shuyam I huyanless at sa shuyam chatsa manless It's achan sa san at sa shuyam It's a honitum can squall at your squall. First of all, my Indian name is Tsilixw. My name is Bill James of the Lummi Nation. Today is July 19, 2012. And I'm going to share with you some history that I heard from my granduncle, Sihuanamak or L. Charles. He was my teacher for many, many years. I studied with him for about 30 years. And he shared a lot of information about the Tsilixw people, and we are the Tsilixw people. As we begin the story today, he talked about the village, and the village was on Orcas Island, was the home of our people, Alalung. And at Alalung, there was a huge village, and well, all throughout the islands were villages of our people, because our people were very numerous years ago, lots of people. And during this period of time of the story, he talked about the Great Flood. As I was saying, he heard the story from his dad. My teacher was born in 1890s, and he heard it from his dad. So this actually come from before the Hualanitam missionaries came into our area. The story began with an old man. In my mind, I think he was an Indian doctor, and he had a vision, and he saw that the Great Flood was coming. He could see. And he told the people that you have to get ready. He says, you have to get ready. You have to build these two huge Tsilixw, the big traveling canoes. You make these two big canoes. And when the time comes for the big flood, we have to put only our children in these canoes so we will survive. But in the meantime, I want you to build the canoes, and I want you to fill it full of food. I want you to put the dried salmon and dried clams in the canoe and get them all ready. I want you to build the huge slough and the big cattail mats to cover the canoes. So the people did. They listened to him. They built the canoes. They prepared the food. They put them all in the canoe. They built the big mats, and they put it on top of the canoes. Finally, when the day came for the Great Flood to come, the waters started to rise. They took all the children of the village, and they placed them in these two canoes. The two canoes were tied together, lashed together. As the canoes went up in the water, they stayed up there for a long time. And as the waters receded, the young people survived. They came down. As the land started to appear, some people, the young people, they stayed in the village together. Then before long, they started to pair off because they were getting a little older now to pair off. Two of them would go over there a little further. Lots of skemoch over there, lots of octopus. We like to eat octopus, we'll go over there. Lots of sahwa over there, so they went over there to dig their clams. Ngansa maokla, there are lots of ducks over there. We'll go over there and we'll eat. As time went on, the young people started to move further and further apart. The day finally came. The day finally came where there was the oldest one of these young people that survived the flood. He decided we better have a meeting before the people start moving too far apart. He sent out runners and he sent out canoes to invite all the people to come back to the main village here to eat. To meet, rather. Eat and meet, actually. As they all came back together, they had the big discussion of, we got to remember who we are and where we come from. We are the Tsilixw people. We are the ones that survived the Great Flood. And I want you folks all to remember that wherever you go, I want you to put your mish on the end of your name. This is why today we have Samish, Swinomish, Skokomish, Skykomish, Snohomish, Duwamish, and all the Mish people are all the survivors of the Great Flood. They came from our two canoes here that survived the flood. They came from those children that came from our village right here at Tsilixw. Our people here, known as the Lummis today, were living at that village at that time. With the course of time, there were people that lived here on the mainland. They were called the Lummi, the Lummi Estalnoch. When the treaty time came, they moved our people from the islands to the mainland here for a reservation. The Xolanitam, the non-Indians, couldn't write our language because we were known as the Lummi. They couldn't spell Lummi. They didn't know how to make that symbol. So they wrote us down as Lummi. So that's how we come to be Lummi people today. But we are still Tsilixw people. Orcas Island is right here. It's right here. This is the home of our ancestors and the home of our people. So we are the Tsilixw. When I was growing up and studying with my Oksala, my teacher, Sihuanamuk, or Al Charles, my granduncle, pointing his finger at me, I want you to remember these words, he says. Chashashwa Waloksan Siam. We are the survivors of the Great Flood. Chashashwa Waloksan Siam. This is why today we have our young people in all the schools and the people that sing the song of our tribal anthem here. Chashashwa Waloksan Siam. That's the song that we sing because we are the survivors of the Great Flood. This is who we are. Chashashwa Waloksan Siam. eat na tachol na swelmoch, seetling quam hey all hey, chashash wallachs and siam, ho Chashash wallachs and siam, eat na tachol na swelmoch, Chashash wallachs and siam, Chashash wallachs and siam, eat na tachol na swelmoch.